You're listening to Entrepreneur's Enigma, a podcast about the ups and downs of the entrepreneurial journey. Every week, your host Seth Goldstein interviews entrepreneurs from all walks of life about their entrepreneurial journeys. From store owners to Fortune 500 CEOs, we all have stories to tell. So sit back and join us for the next 20 or so minutes while we explore the entrepreneurial world.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Entrepreneurs Enigma podcast. I am, as always, your host with the most, Seth from Podcast Mastery and Goldstein Media. I almost forgot the name of my two companies. It's kind of ironic. Today I have Kristen Kidd on the show. She is local to the Philadelphia area. She's an excellent photographer, master networker. I actually was connected to her through a good buddy of mine, Sean Swaim, who then it turns out we already knew each other from another guy, Chris Giddings, because Kristen is literally everywhere. networking. And it's awesome. For over a decade, Kristen has nurtured in tandem a dedication for professional photography and a career as a social worker. So thank you for your service. That is a thankless job as a social worker. It's hard work, it's needed, but it is tough. So you honed your skills deeply understanding, connecting with clients, and capture the true essence of their identity and relationship. At the beginning of 2017, after a long, fulfilling experience as a social worker, I'm sure she's being nice with that. I'm sure social work is tough. She stepped away in order to fully dedicate herself to the photography clients, and now you mostly do pets and families.
Yeah, I'm known for my pet and family photography, but our studio does pet, family, branding, headshot, and boudoir photography.
Boudoir. Ooh. Very cool. Kristen has been featured in Rangefinder magazine and Offbeat Home for her series on grieving the loss of a pet.
Yeah.
Offbeat Home for her series on body dysmorphia and women's empowerment. And I mean, literally, she's been everywhere. So if she's not in print, she's out networking. She lives in just suburbs of Philadelphia with her hubby and her fur babies, Hudson and Nido. And so she's just really living her best life. So how's it going, Kristen? How you doing?
Good. How about yourself?
Not too bad. It was kind of funny. When Sean said, hey, you should talk to my buddy Kristen, I'm like, okay, sure, absolutely. And I found you. I'm like, oh, I know her.
Yes.
Exactly. And it all works out full circle, right?
It does. We travel in the same circles.
We do. The Sean Swaim circles. Absolutely. And so how did this all get started? Did you start off as a social worker? Did you start as a photographer? Were you a budding photographer in high school that turned into a social worker? Like, what's this journey look like?
Yeah. I like to say that my journey as a social worker and as a photographer began when I would go to work with my mom as a small child when she was a geriatric nurse in a long-term care facility. And I would visit all of the residents. And when I would go into their rooms, their tiny rooms, I was always captivated by what would make the cut, an entire life, octogenarians and all of the, aging individuals, and they have this tiny space, this tiny room, and what gets from their life makes it there. And normally,
people have grandparents that do that with.
Yeah, what makes the cut for that room? Like, what do they keep? What gets displayed? What's meaningful to them? And most often it was this collage of photographs from their life, their wedding, their beloved pets, their children, their grandchildren, great-grandchildren. And so I was...
People are so cute.
I was very captivated by those photographs and by their stories. And so I picked up my dad's camera. He was not a professional photographer, but he had a nice camera, and I picked that up when I was 15.
Oh, wow.
And just started having fun with that. And then started a career as a social worker when I was 20. And and did that for 13 years as my
Oh, God
career.
bless you. That's a lot. Yeah. Whew.
And then in tandem with that, I continued to photograph and started photographing professionally and building a portfolio
Yeah.
and then having paid clients and
That's always key to make professionals with those paid clients.
yeah, exactly. So that was the trajectory. That was the journey. And then I needed to be able to see how to successfully begin a photography studio.
Yeah.
And once I saw there were some mentors that showed me how to take what I loved about being a social worker and integrate it into this photographic experience that I could offer to my clients. So once I
That's
saw
awesome.
that, then I knew, I needed to
Yeah,
put
you
my
kind
all
of
into it. Hmm.
exactly. So in what was it, 2017? I think
Hmm.
2017.
Yeah.
You said, all right, let's go photography full time,
Yeah.
and you've never looked back,
Correct. Hmm.
and it's going well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been just absolutely uh, deeply, profoundly meaningful and life-changing
Yeah.
um, and beautiful and humbling and very sacred to be able to walk into people's lives and capture everything that matters most to them
And
and
photographing
celebrate.
pets is almost as hard as might be even harder than photographing kids.
Yeah,
Lots of patience. Lots of patience.
it's it's funny because I think a lot of photographers like they have different wheelhouses, right?
Yeah.
So many photographers would be like, I do not want to photograph pets at all. Um, and then other photographers like, I don't want to photograph humans at all.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's a matter of what resonates for you, and pet photography is something. Family photography that includes pets is
Ooh,
my
that's a double
jam.
challenge. Double
Yeah.
challenge. Get the kids to focus, the dogs to look,
It's
all at the same
beautiful
time.
chaos.
It is, but I mean, but you have to have a knack for it. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
mhm,
And
mhm.
it works well. So, what made you want to go into social work at the very beginning? Like, because from 20, onward.
I think so. Well, one is there was just a bit of serendipity. I moved up here from rural Virginia, and when I
Huh?
moved up here, I knew someone who worked for this organization, Ken Crest Services. I worked for them for all 13 years,
Oh,
and there
wow.
was an opportunity to come on board like entry level one-on-one support with individuals, and so there was the serendipity of like I needed a job, I needed a career, I care about people. If like
Yeah.
and I grew up showing up and volunteering at the long-term care facility,
Hmm.
and
So
I've
it was
always
natural
loved, yeah,
progression. Yeah.
sociology, psychology, all of that. So, I just it made sense. And so that's what I did. And then through the 13 years, I just worked my way up until by the time I left, I was a case manager with a caseload of 22 families that I
Oh,
served,
jeez. Yeah.
and I was a supervisor for many other staff, and so it was a lot of it was amazing to be able to cultivate all of those skills.
But it was then time for a break. It was time to say, we're going to take a quick break, hear from our sponsors, and get right back to the show.
It
All right.
was, and again, there's serendipity around that as well because it was around that time that I met the mentor who showed me how to start a photography studio.
Yeah.
Um, I met certain people. It's,
Hmm.
all of the trajectory is the basis for
I
my
love it.
personal belief in universal intelligence.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Mhm,
So now you're a photographer. So
mhm.
2017 onward. What is the best thing in your mind? Because I mean, you did the social work. I mean, it was kind of you're kind of independent, kind of doing your own thing, but like you're not on your own. What's the best thing about being an entrepreneur in your mind?
The creativity, like
Mm,
the creativity to be able to make anything possible that I can conjure in my mind, theoretically.
theoretically,
Obviously,
yeah,
yes, obviously there are circumstances that get in the way. There are, there's any number of things
always.
that adjust that,
Hmm.
but um, there's no ceiling,
Yeah, keep
you know.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Mhm.
What keeps you up at night then? I mean, with the whole idea of
Like the uncertainty. I mean, that's the thing is like no one's doing your paycheck for you. There's
that's
no,
terrifying.
yeah, no one's doing your paycheck for you. No one's figuring it out for you. No one is saving you.
It's you.
Yeah.
It's
You have to
all
figure it
you.
out. Yeah. The flip side of having no ceiling and everything is possible is that it's on you. Like,
It's on you.
yeah, you got to figure that out. If you don't want a ceiling and the sky's the limit, that's great,
Mm-hmm.
but you figure that
Yeah.
out.
I mean, you also do a lot of training. I mean, I saw you on Eventbrite recently. I swear the technology knows things. I'm like,
Yeah,
all of a sudden, Kristen shows up in my Eventbrite.
wonderful.
I'm like, that's great. No, it is wonderful. I was like, great. But I know you do a lot of like workshops on networking. You're in BNI. I tell you, Sean.
I do public speaking. I'm an
Yeah,
author. I mentor.
you
Yeah,
keep
I do.
busy. Yeah,
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I keep very busy, but I love teaching. I love educating and leading workshops and talking about all sorts of concepts and,
yeah,
taking on things that people are uncomfortable with,
yeah. Which is
and
why it's network.
networking. Yeah, networking. A
Yeah,
lot of
network's a
people.
big one. Like they
Yeah.
don't realize, like I go into a room and I have to talk to random people about what I do, but not about what I do, but how I do it, but not how
Mm,
I do it. Like it's like what? It's a
Yeah.
mind meld to say the
Yeah,
least.
and a lot of the things that I talk about is it ends up just being stories that we tell ourselves, like kind of no matter what I'm talking about, whether it's perfectionism or imposter syndrome or networking or, it all comes back to the stories we tell ourselves that serve us and the stories we tell ourselves that don't serve us. And so
I love
I'm always operating within the intersection of that. And really, like any talk that I'm doing, I could be talking about like, well, tomorrow I'm talking about being the perfectly imperfect entrepreneur, right?
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah, so that's my talk for tomorrow at this networking event that I'm going to be at.
Very cool. So
Um,
that'll have since passed, but you're constantly doing neat things. So
mhm,
it's definitely,
yeah.
follow Kristen everywhere and all that stuff. So what is the most important thing to carry with you all the time? This other than the camera. That's too easy. That's too easy.
Can, can I say self-confidence?
Yes, absolutely. You can go as
Can
woo
it be
woo as you want to
more,
get. Yeah.
yeah, can it be more existential than physical?
You don't have to do physical objects.
Yeah. Um, well, so actually, I mean, not self-confidence. I would say empathy, empathy
Yes.
and resilience,
Ooh, I
which,
like that. Yeah.
yeah, both of those have to be cultivated, It's you're not I don't think you have a lot of circumstances that either set you up for having a lot of resilience,
Yeah.
and empathy, or you don't, and you have to kind of build that and flex and build that muscle and exercise it. So, but I think empathy and resilience are,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I love how when we talked prior to the show, you said like people come far and wide for your photography. So
Yes.
because you're based at what, about an hour north of Philly.
Right about, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
but
only
we know each other because we've bumped into each other plenty of times across the river in Jersey, in
Mhm.
Lambertville at Chris Giddings's events, and I'm like, hey, I know you. You get all over the
I
place
do. Yeah.
because people travel far and wide to your studio.
Mhm.
Where can people find your studio if they want to learn out more about
Yeah,
what you
so
do?
they can follow us on Instagram at Lux Summit Studio. And it's LUX. There's no E. So
Oh,
LUX and then summit as in the top of the mountain and studio. And they can find us at luxsummitstudio.com as well.
ooh,
They can also
you're well
find,
branded. Well
yes,
branded.
and they can also find my most recent endeavor, which is Dog Mom Magazine,
Ooh.
um, on Instagram at Dog Mom Magazine and on dogmommagazine.com as
Yeah,
well.
so tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
Because
So
you're a dog mom,
I
which kind of
am a
makes
dog
sense.
mom. Yes, I am. And a lot of my clientele have been dog moms. Um, and so it just seemed like a no-brainer. And quite honestly, I was completely shocked that it didn't already exist. I was like, of course, Dog Mom Magazine. So we really wanted to create this platform
Yeah.
for dog moms to celebrate the culture that is dog mom culture and to celebrate their bond with their canine companions. And
Mm.
so we are featuring dog moms and their pups in the magazine. And people can go to the website, dogmommagazine.com, and they can fill out the submission form in order to be considered to be featured. And everybody has a photo session with their studio, and their story is in the magazine as well.
Is this print or just online?
It's print. Yep. It's just, yeah.
Ooh,
Yep.
nice.
Yeah, we wanted something really tangible, beautiful, luxurious, and the profits from the subscriptions go to rescue. So people can subscribe and support rescue. Dog moms can share a little bit of their story and then have an interview with me to be featured. But we have some really amazing and dynamic women with some beautiful stories that are being shared. So the first issue is coming out now. So.
Oh, and is it monthly?
It is quarterly because
good.
Yes.
You said you can always do more.
Right.
It's just like, pick a
I'm
cadence.
quite sure I will lose my mind if I try and do a monthly magazine.
Quarterly,
But
so four a year. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it is. And there's been a really beautiful response to it. And I'm so excited to have more dog moms following it and subscribing to the magazine. And I want so many more beautiful stories to be shared and featured and photo sessions to be had.
Oh, absolutely. It does a little bit for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So Kristen, they can find you at luxsummitstudio.com,
Yeah.
dogmommagazine.com. Literally, let's look for Kristen Kidd. Kristen with an E, Kidd with 2 D's. On the socials, you'll find her. She's everywhere. And you'll probably bump into her without knowing it at a networking event in the Philadelphia area.
Look for the girl with the mohawk and tattoos.
Yeah, and a big smile on her face as she's in their element networking.
Yes.
This is so awesome. I'm so glad we got to connect.
Me too. Thank you so much.
See everyone next week.
That was a great show. If you're enjoying Entrepreneur's Enigma, please consider giving us a review in the podcast directory of your choice. Every review helps us reach new listeners. If you like Entrepreneur's Enigma, consider the other shows on the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcast.net.